Hello everybody and welcome to class. I'm Mr. Dane, as you know, and today we're going to take a closer look at fossils. So, what are fossils anyway? Fossils are the body remains or trace remains of organisms that lived long ago. Yep, that's right, even older than me. Scientists are able to learn many things from studying fossils, including how life has changed over time and also how the earth has changed over time. Even though we find fossils in sedimentary rock, they are still very rare, and the actual chance of becoming a fossil is even rarer as well. Scientists estimate that less than 1/10 of 1% of every organism that's lived has actually had the chance to become a fossil. So, this means that the fossils we do find actually only account for a very small percentage of the organisms that have actually lived on the planet. So, why don't we all become fossils like this handsome fella behind me? Oh yeah, that's right, yeah. We all get eaten, that's why. Yeah. Detritivores, okay. Recycling organic matter, okay. The cycle of life. Yeah. So, in what ways can fossils form? One way would be to remove the water. All life needs water, so once there's no water for metabolic processes, then bacteria and other detritivores have no way of decomposing the organism. This woman you see behind me, even though she only looks about my age, she's actually 9,000 years old, and she's from Chile. There's a collection of mummies called the Chinchorro mummies, and yeah, they all date to around 9,000 years. Pretty cool. Okay, let's take a look at a few of the mummies. Okay, this guy, 9,000 years old as well, from Chile. I think he spent a little bit too long on lockdown. Okay. This wolf cub, found in Canada, has been dated to 57,000 years old. Pretty amazing preservation for such an age, eh? I guess we probably should include the Egyptians as well, eh? Okay, so did you know the Egyptians actually used to mummify their pets and take them with them as well? I just can't help wondering though if the cats and dogs would try and do a runner as soon as they saw their owners getting sick. Okay, so let's see some of the techniques that we have. Preservation in amber. Amber definitely makes for some pretty impressive looking fossils, huh? I mean, yeah, look at this gecko. So realistic. I'm kind of glad that one's in there, for sure. It's not always just insects and reptiles that get caught in amber, though. What you see behind me now is probably one of the most important discoveries of recent times, as it shows the fossilized tail of a 99-million-year-old dinosaur, and great supporting evidence that it was the dinosaurs that evolved into the birds. If you ever visit Myanmar or the Baltic region of Europe, be sure to keep your eyes to the ground if you're walking along the beach, as these two places have some of the highest concentrations of amber fossils in the world, and you never know, you may get lucky and find something absolutely outstanding. So, as you can see anyway, getting trapped is definitely a helping hand towards becoming a fossil. So, saying that, let's move on to the next one. Tar seeps. Usually, fossil fuels are trapped well below ground and surrounded by impermeable rock. But occasionally, some of that rock isn't quite so permeable, and you end up with something that we call a tar seep. La Brea tar pits in Trinidad are actually the largest tar pits in the world, and have been responsible for some amazing finds. However, here we have a mastodon fossil, which was actually found at tar pits in Los Angeles. As you can see, it was a mammoth-like animal and dates to around 11,000 years ago. Okay. Along with this bison as well, also found in the same pits in 11,000 years, and a saber-toothed tiger from around the same time. Probably trying to catch some of the stranded animals and became a victim itself as well. And here we have an artist's impression of what the area may have looked like thousands of years ago back in the Pleistocene period. That's pretty impressive, eh? So, carrying on our story of non-decomposition, what do we have next? Good old-fashioned freezing to death. Nice. But at least it helps you on the way to becoming a fossil if that's what you'd like to be. Obviously, just like mummification, if you're frozen, you still can't decompose because it's only liquid water that bacteria and other detritivores can actually use. Although a disaster for global warming, the thawing of the Siberian permafrost is actually unearthing a treasure trove of fossils, such as this woolly rhinoceros, which actually used to be pretty commonplace in Asia and Europe until the end of the Pleistocene epoch, around 11,000 years ago. Named Lebea by the Russian archaeologists who found her, she's 42,000 years old and would have been a whopping 3 meters tall if she'd survived to adulthood. Because Lebea is so well preserved, some scientists are actually debating at the moment whether it would be a good idea to actually use some of her extracted DNA to try and bring mammoths back from extinction. I don't know. What do you think? So, as I was saying, finding such well-preserved fossils is extremely rare, which brings us on to our next category, petrification. These are actually the most common form of fossilization because, preserving the soft body parts of an organism is very difficult indeed. If conditions are right when the organism dies, the process of petrification will slowly replace body parts with minerals, turning it to stone. It can be pretty difficult at times when we're looking at petrified fossils to wrap our heads around the fact that we're not actually really looking at the organism that once lived. We're only looking at a trace of where it used to be, even though they really do look like the bones, and they are incredibly impressive. Just like these fossils, some of the oldest ones we found from the trilobites, over 500 million years old. And it's not always animals that become fossilized. Here we have an entire tree, and in fact we found entire petrified forests as well. Trace fossils form an invaluable part of an archaeologist's detective work, and there are several categories of trace fossils as well that archaeologists use. These are carbon films, moles and casts, gastroliths, and coprolites. As you well know, all life on Earth is carbon-based, and as such, sometimes when an organism dies, some traces of that carbon get left and give us a fine imprint of what the organism was like. Plants do form a rather large proportion of the fossils we find as carbon films, but not always. As you see here, there's a really well-preserved fish. It almost looks like you could see the meat on there. And here we have a hornet-type insect that I'm rather glad isn't around right at this moment. And moving on to our next category of trace fossils, we have moles and casts. Moles and casts, as I mentioned before, are the most common kind of fossils we find, which includes all of the petrified remains. The awesome specimen you can see behind me is a petrosaur. It's a winged dinosaur, somewhere between dinosaurs and birds. It doesn't have the usual feathers of a bird, but it was definitely closer to dinosaurs and birds than it was a crocodile. And here we have the largest ammonite ever discovered. This was actually found in New Zealand and weighs a whopping 1,200 kilograms. And here we have a trilobite fossil. They were the most successful animal that's ever lived on planet Earth. They lived on Earth for 270 million years. That was a whole 50 million years longer than the reign of the dinosaurs. So, truly, realistically, Okay, the Earth belongs to trilobites. I hope you've got the stomach for our next installment of Trace Fossils. Yeah, gastroliths. They may not be the most beautiful fossils ever to be found, but they do give us a really good insight into the eating habits of dinosaurs. And the picture behind me here shows that, yeah, this is how we know they were actually used as digestion and not just stones that were found near the dinosaurs. You can actually see the stones in the stomach area here. And after digestion, last but not least, you know that we get, oh my, what? Oh, what is that? Oh, geez. Oh my goodness. Sorry guys. I think I've been on lockdown a little bit too long. Okay, don't worry about that. You thought I meant the coprolite? No. That, my friend, that's 50 million year old dinosaur dung. That doesn't smell anymore. Coprolites, however, do give us a really good insight into the eating. Oh my God, and they are sometimes a little bit too realistic, eh? But no, they give us a real good insight into the eating habits and the diet of the dinosaurs at the time. Index fossils are fossils that have a known period of geologic time. These fossils can then be used to help identify and age new discoveries. Okay, I guess that's about it for today anyway, and next time we'll be looking at geologic time in a little bit more detail. And just before we go, one last thought for the day. Why was the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs a great idea for mankind? Because it killed 2 billion birds with one stone. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going now. Bye-bye, guys. See you. I've seen this lizard 150 times now trying to make this video. So, to continue our journey of non-decomposition, what do we have next? Nothing, because I didn't press it.